you'll recognise these as being Texels. These have been on the farm for the same length of time as I have. So all the guys on the farm are encouraged to take a bit of ownership, you know, and I'll leave them alone, I'll tell them. You know, I set all the systems up and then I said, this is the standard that I want, and I'm only going to be on your back if it doesn't reach that standard. These Texels are actually redundant. So what I used to do, the original shepherd here had a real interest in Texel sheep. So I bought him a pure pedigree flock of Texels sort of 13 years ago, and we used to put a percentage of the Flynn ewes that are commercial ewes to a Texel in the theory that I got a slightly earlier summer lamb for the business. We've since superseded them with the next bunch of sheep that are down that I'm going to talk about in a moment. But these Texels are absolute living proof that you can get good sheep by breeding for what you want. These sheep won't get an ounce, not a teaspoonful of anything concentrate-wise at all. So this little bunch of Texels will lamb down. These will lamb slightly earlier, actually, in March. All the ram lambs are left entire, and they're just left on grass alone. After they're weaned, they're on grass, and I sell every one at about 600 quid as shearlings, and I have a queue of people coming to buy them. They're not fed from a bucket at all, you know, as farmers, and especially in this country. I farmed in New Zealand for a long time, but in this country, a farm, you know, we go off, don't we, and we buy our sheep that's as long as the dining table and as wide as the dining table, and we come home and we're all very proud of it. We put it out with the ewes, and then 3 weeks later it comes back in looking like a bloody hat rack. Because it just simply can't sustain its own body condition from grass alone. While these really are living proof that you can do it if you selectively breed for animals that perform well from the green stuff under their feet rather than from the corn out of the bucket. So the current shepherd and others have tried to tell me that we don't need these, let's get rid of them, but there's no way I'm selling them. They're just a fantastic example of what you can do from grass-fed stock. And the tups, we have sold a few at sales and things. They're not MV accredited, so they stand in a separate sort of line away from the other guys, and they'll be 6 inches taller at the shoulder than anything in the market. So I think it's just a really nice example of being able to show people like you know, what you can do from grass-fed if you selectively breed for it. So basically anything that's not performing is eaten. All the other rams and the best of the shearlings are kept and just done on grass, and they sell like hotcakes. Now if we move down just a little bit, so it's all pedigree sheep in this lean-to. These ladies joined us about 5 years ago. Does anybody know what these are? These are Rylands, developed by the monks of the Rye Monastery 800 years ago. And there's a very true story which I'm going to tell very quickly. Carol Bamford said to me 5 or 6 years ago she'd like to have a day out at a country show, and it was about the time of the Three Counties show. So I said, well, let's go to the Three Counties. And when we got there, she went into the sheep shed and said, oh, I really like these sheep, let's have some of those. And I tried to whisk her away and go and have a look at something else. Anyway, at the end of the day, she said, I'm getting my own way over something, I want some of those Rylands. So I went to the sale at Ludlow at the end of August and bought 25 shearling ewes and a ram and brought them home. And actually, they have worked superbly. So this year now, between the two farms, about 1,750 females will go to a Ryland tup, and they produce a fantastic quality lamb. It's something that I can market. You know, I tell all sorts of ditties. Queen Victoria insisted only on the wool of Rylands to make her bed socks. Well, if it was good enough for Queen Victoria, it's good enough for me and our customers, and they work beautifully. So the shepherds up north are now hounding me for rams every autumn to put onto the ewes. They produce a fantastic summer lamb, so they'll come through. I mean, we pick thousands of lambs a year, and we can do it by eye. When these walk through the scales, you think, well, he's about 35 kilos, he'll be 45. And the eating quality is fantastic. You wouldn't want to run them as a commercial flock. They roll on their backs quite easily. They're quite lazy, slow sort of devils. But I just keep this nice group, leave all the rams entire, and then pick the best off to use as a commercial crossing tup across the Flyns. But thrilled with them, and they've made a real addition, and they give me the ability to sort of tell the customer that we're doing something different and preserving this lovely ancient breed.